need, y'all. You got to give a lot just to get what you need sometimes, y'all.
Same mistakes that I made.
1, 2.
Hey, there's somebody out here who has never made a mistake in their life. Please raise your hand. Thank God nobody raised their hand. Everybody makes mistakes. But let me tell you something. It's the mistakes that we make in our lives that make us better people. What I'm saying to you today is I'm not here to plead for criminals, for people who have broke the law, for you to give us an easy hand or easy road. What I'm saying is that if a person has committed a crime, okay, against our society, and he's paid his debt to society, and he's come out, and he's turned his life around, give us another opportunity. Give me a chance to get a job, to take care of me and my family, and stop this nonsense with all this quarry reform, because what are you going to do when you're waiting for your quarry to be sealed? You can't get a job. So what I'm saying is this mass incarceration is not only a statewide problem, it's a United States problem, and we have to get together like this more than once on a Saturday, more than once a year, and come together and solve these problems. Thank you.
Michaelann Bewsee, I'm the director of Arise, and today is a very exciting day because one thing we really need in Springfield is unity among the activists and among the people that are most affected by some of the bad things that are going on, who know what the good things should be and have the will to do it. So besides Arise, we have No One Leaves, we have the Vanguard, we have Neighbor to Neighbor. I'm really glad that the NAACP got this organized to give us a chance to come together in unity. And if we all work together, I think we can really make a difference. And that's all I have to say.
Hold on. Brother, you need someone to carry a banner? Justice, banner? We're asking the banners to go in the front on both sides. So those with banners,
which one?
Michaelann.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Don Perry, and I walk.
Turn it on.
We're good? Again, my name is Don Perry, and I walk for justice. One of the reasons I walk for justice is to reform the Massachusetts Parole Board, to change the antiquated policies and abusive practices that interfere with an individual being able to move forward in his or her life. You just heard Donnell talk about mass incarceration. Well, I want to talk about the population of people that suffer in silence. Our community is saturated with people on parole and probation. We live in a society that's supposed to be concerned about redemption and not retribution. But there's a lot of policies, such as the Corey policies and everything, that interfere with people moving forward in their lives. And Project Operation Change objective is to challenge those obstacles and reform across the state of Massachusetts?
Well, we're walking for justice, we're marching for justice, and I'll tell you why I'm here. One of the reasons is because there are people all over this city who can't even afford to keep a roof over their head. They're paying 50, 60, 70% of their income just to keep from being homeless. And when they do become homeless and they go to the people that are supposed to help, most of the time they're turned away. We're becoming not the city of homes, but the city of homelessness. We've got a mayor that cares more about casinos than he does about the people who live here. We have a mayor that wants this city to be for the kind of people he wishes lived here, not for the people who do live here. So we're the people that are here, and we're the people that matter.
I also walk for justice to support all of the groups or the committees under Rise for Social Justice, the Homelessness Committee, Climate Environmental Change Committee, Outreach. And I also walk for justice because I am also a person of color and I can't breathe.
Justice for women.
Innocent as well. This is that. So I gotta cut it short, but I want to thank all
And I walk for justice. We're all marching for justice because in our city, there are people suffering right now because of the quality of our air. And who do you think it is? It's people of color and poor people. The ones that are stuck next to the bus depots, the train tracks, the schools that are built underground near major highways. Those are the people that are suffering. But it's not just here. It's all over this country. It's all over this world. We want the city to adopt a climate change plan that creates jobs, that creates meaning, that really helps build our community where we're the voices that are heard the loudest. And I want to say, if not us, who? If not now, when? We are the people that we've been waiting for.
Who are already downtown, who are going to be meeting us there. We're waiting now for a delegation, Brother Johnnie and a delegation on their way now from the Mosque. Once they get here, we're going to be ready to start our walk. What we want to do is we want to walk on both sides of State Street. So we're going to ask for a delegation to be prepared to walk on this side and a delegation to be prepared to walk on that side. We'll walk simultaneously. We'll hold our signs. We'll chant. You all know some chants, right?
Welcome back to the New Voice. I'm Andrew Keaton, co-hosted with Zephyr Mongru. Sitting here with Bishop Talbot Swan, Brother Johnnie Muhammad from Muhummads Mosque 13. So let's pick back up. What were some of the organizations that were involved in the march today?
Well, of course, we had the NAACP, the 10-10-15 Organizing Committee, Muhummads Mosque number 13, Arise for Social Justice, Neighbor to Neighbor, Awake, and I know I'm missing some, but there was a whole plethora of organizations. Black Lives Matter, the Vanguard. Yeah, they were all represented out there, which which is indicative of the fact that though we're doing separate work in our separate silos, they intersect, and where they intersect, we can and we should come together.
So, you know, that's a lot of organizations to pull together. Now, how did that happen? Were you guys instrumental in reaching out to them, or once they heard that, you know, what was being put together, everybody started calling, can I get in on it?
Well, as you know, we've been organizing and mobilizing with the 10-10-15 local organizing committee, and many people from different organizations have been joining the local organizing committee to get on the bus to go to Washington, D.C. So we formulated committees inside the organization, which many of these different brothers and sisters became a part of. And from that point on, once we decided that we were going to have a rally and then we were going to have it with, in conjunction with the NAACP, we made contact with Bishop Swan, and from there we just started talking and making things happen. And next thing you know, and I must admit that, you know, social media played a very good part in it, but it was a lot of communication, you know, dialoguing with one another, and, you know, this person calling that person. So we work together, and it just goes to show that we can work together.
I agree with that. Let me just say this very quickly. For the amount of organizations, right, that came together, the turnout you got today, do you think that it should have been greater? You know, talk about that. What do you think the turnout should have been?
Well, you always want a great turnout, but I was very pleased with the turnout, because I don't believe in all the days that I've been in this community that we've had a turnout larger than that.
We'd have to go back a while. As a matter of fact, we go back to after the original Million Man March.
Correct.
We had a march right down here to Court Square, and had a decent turnout. But it's been quite some time where we've seen that number of individuals come out. I think ultimately we'd like to see the whole city come out and all the constituents of all of the organizations come out. But I think what it really showed in terms of the collaboration, I know we have a particular focus. So we've got what we call 5 game changers in the NAACP that we're focused on. I know that Muhammads Mosque, they have a focus, and we realize we can't affect change in every area.
That's right.
But there are other organizations and groups that are working in those areas. So when we talk about environmental justice, you know, nationally we do some stuff on that. Locally we don't. But we know Arise has been working diligently in that area. The Jobs Not Jails group has been working in that area. So we thought of what are the important issues and who's working in those areas. And those are the people who should be at the table and that we should be working with.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And actually, you jumped ahead. That was actually my next question about some of the areas we can focus on to make change. We already know the justice system, we already know educational system, but just to backtrack a little bit, what are some of the things that Springfield needs to move forward as a community? I know that's a broad question, and it's a question that just not Springfield, it's a question for the nation, but what are some of the things, and this question is for both of you, that Springfield needs to do immediately that we can make immediate change?
There's 3 areas that come to mind for me. One, we've got to deal with justice in the criminal justice system, and that runs the ranks of the police, the court system, and beyond. Secondly, we've got to have schools that properly educate our young people and prepare them for the future. It's a cyclical effect. When they're not educated, they come out, they can't get a job, it breeds poverty breeds crime. It all starts from one place and jumps to a next like a domino effect. And then thirdly, economic justice, economic development in our communities. You know, we had $70 million worth of economic dollars that came into the city. And you're hard pressed to find a minority contractor or any number of people of colors that worked in any of those areas where those dollars came and were spent. You know, our community was ravaged by the tornado, and yet and still, when you saw the renovations happening up in 16, Six Corners areas, up in that area, you didn't see any black faces. You didn't see them building the houses. You didn't see them doing anything. And so when you have that level of dollars that come in because of the suffering that our community goes through, but then we go and get outside contractors and people that don't look like us, and we still struggle to find jobs. We've got to have economic justice. Right. And Brother Johnnie, same question.
Well, I believe unity is where we need to work on to make things better, because you know something, if we unite as a people, then we can cover everything that my brother just talked about. Because we have brilliant minds in our community, amongst us as a people. You know, there's no reason why we can't come together and take those brilliant minds and have them educate our children in the church, in the mosque. The hell with the school system. Do something for ourselves.
Right.
We have all these doctorate degrees, master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, all these names, all these letters behind our name, but we're sending our children to the devil's system. Why can't we open up the mosque, open up the church, and have those educators come and teach our babies right there? Malcolm said it like this: a man that won't treat you right won't teach you right. And we found that to be true.
Because it is.
It is true. So, you know, but our biggest problem that I found is that we're not united. Everybody comes to the black community and they suck from the black community. Everybody comes to the black community, open up businesses in the black community. Why can't we unite and have a mom and pop store and support the mom and pop store? Why can't we have a nail salon? We go to somebody who don't look like us to get our nails done. We are the #1 consumers in the country. Of everything. We don't provide nothing for ourselves. And if we were to unite and do something for ourselves, we don't know the blessing that we can get from God, and we could see a change in our community.
Can I speak to that right quick, though?
Sure.
Okay. They, you know, often say on this show, right? You have the ruling powers who committed a lot of murder. They killed a lot of our black brothers and sisters, a lot of our babies to get in the position they're in. Now, I often try to put myself in that position. After I committed all of that crime, would I want to then take what I worked so hard to get and then turn it over to you guys talking about justice or else?
Well, you know, I don't really give a damn whether you turn it over to me. You know, I do something for myself.
No, but let me say this. But that's what I'm saying. If you do that, then I don't have a market.
Well, that's the purpose. You've had the market long enough. Time to give it up. See, what's happening is you're waking a sleeping giant. Okay? You're waking a sleeping giant. Our people need to be woke. Because right now we're asleep. And Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is traveling the country, and he's waking up a sleeping giant. And that giant is the youth. The youth. See, we've had our time. We've had our time, and we've done nothing with it. So we have passed on a legacy of cowardice to our children. But these young brothers and sisters, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says they're the Joshua generation. They're not going for it no more. So what we need to do is get the hell out the way, okay? Give them divine guidance, or let the divine guidance come from him, or pastors, bishops, and give them guidance to teach them, and then let them, and get out the way and let them do their thing. Because we've had our time, and we've done nothing with it.
In closing remarks, so we've got to wrap it up, I'm going to give a minute each to Bishop Talbot Swan and Brother Johnnie Muhammad for what they see. We'll give you 2 minutes each. Let's extend it to 2 minutes each of what they want to see the outcome of the march today and moving forward, and what we need to do as Springfield. This is a call right now to the viewers that are going to be watching this. They're going to be watching this on the internet. They're going to be watching this on the TV. What do we need to do?
We need to, as Brother Johnnie Muhammad just said, we need to be unified.
And part of being unified is we've got to learn how to love each other and to trust each other. The reason why we can't open up a nail salon and have thriving businesses in our community is partly because we're reticent to go and support a business when someone has a face like me. We still think that white ice is colder in some kind of way. So we've got to learn how to love each other, trust each other, and then work in unity. There's a text in the Bible that talks about the building of the Tower of Babel. And the people were going to build a tower all the way up to heaven. And the scripture says that when God saw the people were one, he said to himself, the people is one, and nothing that they purpose to do will be constrained. That's God talking, saying that when people are unified, they can do whatever they purpose to do. If we could ever come together in that way, there's nothing any elected official, any group, any entity could do to stop us.
That's right.
Brother Johnny, closing remark.
Well, once again, I'm stuck on unity, you know, but my brother just said the key word is love, you know. We have to love one another more than we hate ourselves. And, you know, that's a lot because, you know, we have been a suffering people for so many years that we believe that we have to suffer. It's a way of life. But you know something? We have a divine man in our midst today, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that's teaching us to love our brother, love God with all our heart and soul. And if you love him with all your heart and soul, then you should be able to love your brother. Because the scriptures say, how can you say that you love God whom you've never seen and hate your brother who you see every day? So I'm in agreement with my brother here that love is the key. And if we unite and show one another that I can love him because he's a Christian, he can love me because I'm a Muslim, and we can work together, then there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to work together as a community. Right. So I'm looking forward to actually 10/11 to come back from Justice or else in Washington, D.C. on 10/10 after getting our instructions from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and going to work. And when I get back, one of the first calls I'm going to make is to Bishop Swan so that we can work together and galvanize our community and get out here and go to work. Because one thing I can say is that he will go into the street because he's been there, because he was with us 20 years ago in the Million Man March. So I'm grateful to Allah for his brotherhood, for his love, his companionship in the struggle of our people. Right. There's some of us that aren't afraid to go out into the street where our people are. Right. So, you know, once again, it's the love and the unity that we have to have for one another and for our people. I think that's going to be the biggest factor in the days ahead.
Yeah. On that note, we can always agree to disagree. We can disagree on sports teams. We can do all that all day, all day long. But at the same token, we need to come together and find a common ground at the end of the day, end of the night, where we can work together. This is the new voice. It's Brother Andrew Zephyrin, Bishop Talbot Swan, Brother Johnnie Muhammad, and we're out.
What you got until you get what you need, y'all. You got to give a lot just to get what you need sometimes, y'all. Give me the bridge now. I feel like busting loose, busting loose. Give me the bridge now. Bustin' loose now. Bustin' loose in the evening. Bustin' loose can be pleasing. deal.